We've just come from the field where the boswellia is growing, and we've worked with the farmers, and they've given us some samples that we can clearly identify the plant. So I'm going to trim the base here just because it's a little messy from when we were in the field. And then I'm going to press this in newspaper as neatly as I can, because you can see here it's a fairly thick root, and it's nice to get it as flat as possible. So we'll try and turn the leaves and make sure that all the parts are visible. There's some seeds here that we want to see. And I'll move it to this side. And then what we'll do on the newspaper on the outside, usually on the bottom right side, is we'll write the unique number. So I'm the collector of this, so I'll put my initials. And on the bottom here, I'll use my system to identify which is the year and the number of the voucher. I then take this newspaper, and I have cardboard here. And I have what's called a plant press. This is usually an oak. You can buy these from various places. You can make them out of a piece of plywood. And you put the newspaper and the cardboard inside the press. And then you add the top and the bottom. So we put enough cardboard to press it. We make sure that the bottom piece is under as well. Creating a firm system to press the plant flat. And then we take these straps that come with the press, and we wrap them around the press. The strap is easy to adjust. You can just pull it through. The strap is very long because many times when in your field you'll have very many specimens, and so they get fairly thick here. But because we only have one specimen, it's kind of small and the strap has some extra space on it. So you tighten it down as much as you can. Let's put the other strap on here. And once you have these straps in place, then you can put this in a place to dry. Now, if you're in a humid place, you can put a fan on it and allow it to dry a little faster. Someplace like Somalia, where we are, is very arid, and so there probably isn't a problem with the drying. However, you do want to open it after a few days to make sure that it's not moldy. Okay, so here's another sample that I took earlier. Let me move over in front of here. So I'll open up the straps, hoping that it's dry, although I know really this isn't dry yet because we just collected it, but it's just as a demonstration of how to make a specimen. You open it up. You can easily slip this open without having to take the straps off if you want, to make sure how things look. I had put the specimen in here. And hopefully in a few days this will be dry specimen. So I want to trim the base off. You can see it's already beginning to press flat here. and these have flowers on them. So this is a nice fertile specimen. When it's dry, I would take this specimen, being careful not to keep it flat as much as possible, because once it's dry, sometimes the parts are friable or fragile and they can crumble off. So then I will take it over and we'll begin to put it into an archival paper. So once you've dried the plant, this is a sample that's not dry yet. The newspaper helps to dry it. The newspaper also is labeled with the unique number for the voucher specimen. That unique number allows you to know when it was collected and where. And at the same time, there's data that's collected while you're in the field. So it's the name of the plant, the species, the family. In this case, this is Burseraceae, Boswellia carteri. You take the GPS or town location so that you know specifically where this plant came from. That's really critical if you're working especially in a pharmaceutical company, so that you can go back to the same area, because often if you change areas, that could affect the actives in the raw material. The other information you take is the type of area it was. Was this in a forest or in a riverbed on the side of the road? So you know exactly the terrain it was in and the habitat. And then you also write the description of the plant, because as it dries, the colors might change, the aroma might change. And so you want to make sure that you get clarity on the color of the flower here, and the petals, as well as the sexual parts of the plant and the leaves. The other information you usually write down on the Excel file is the unique number you gave it and certainly the date it was collected. All this information is put into a label, which will be glued here on the bottom right part of the voucher. This paper here is herbarium paper. It's acid-free, which means it will last for hundreds of years. So you take the specimen and you place it attractively on the paper, remembering that the label will be here. And then you open the glue, and there's specific glue that's often related to herbarium supplies, and you can get this. A simple white glue is often used, such as this, for gluing this, the specimens. So you can use a stick or a piece of paper or whatever, and then you'll want to glue the back and parts of the leaves so that nothing moves. You want this to be as permanent as possible. Since this is such a large stem, the glue is probably not going to be very effective. You can see how mobile it is. So in that case, you use a gum tape. So this is a cotton tape, and one side is sticky, and one side is the cotton up. And I've prepared some of this, so already cutting it into different sizes. So some are long, some are short and a little thicker. And then, so we would choose what's best for here. We'll need something long, but something sturdy. And you can use glue. You can use a sponge or water. It's okay. It's so little that I can just lick it. And then I would hold it down with this tape. Make sure it's down. I might need to cut a larger piece to take across the stem. We'll see if some of the pieces I cut are long enough. You want to make sure it's very tight around the stem. So you use your fingernails. Sometimes you can use a scissor or a stick, but you want to hold it down tight. And you continue to do this along the whole branch until it's secure. I also like to put them around the flower because you definitely don't want to lose that. And so we'll put that over here, make sure it's tight. And one other thing that we often do is you make sure that you turn one of these upside down, because a lot of the features of the leaf that are used to identify it are often on the other side. So let's take some of our glue, make sure we're putting it on the right side of the plant, and then we'll glue this down. Now, you can see it still has some places, even though I've glued it or strapped it. So at this point, you want to use something very heavy to press it flat. I have some weights that I can use. You can put weights inside of cloth, or you can put some rocks, whatever you have available. The last part of this are file folders. And here they are. You can buy them in big pieces like that, already pre-shaped. You then fold them according to the lines. This is an average size. You can buy them larger or smaller, but I like the average size because then you can use them. And then you kind of make a little envelope out of it, just like this. I've already made this one. Then I take the glue once more, and I make sure that it's glued on the bottom. And I put it usually in the left side. Now, if any of these parts were to fall off, I would open up the folder. Since I'm gluing that, I'll show you here. I would open up this folder, and I would place them inside. So I'll take a leaf off of here just to show you what I mean. So let's say I have it like this. I would open it up. I would put the leaf inside here, and then I would close it one more time, either before it's glued or even after it's glued. Then this specimen, once the label is completed, can be put inside a cabinet. The herbarium cabinets that you can purchase are lined so that they protect against insects, against smoke in case of fire, and they have shelves in them, and they can be filed according to your system, and that system can be alphabetical by plant, genus. It can be alphabetical by family, in this case Burseraceae, or in this case, even because it's an economically based program, that you could put it according to the region of Somalia or according to the farmer. And then you would have a cover that it would go inside, and you would label that accordingly. Here are the areas for this town, and those labels would be blue. The next label might be red, and it would be for a different town or a different state within Somalia. So that is the process of creating a voucher specimen, and then this is a permanent storage of that plant that you've surveyed.